All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Sports Network. I am Ace from the West Coast, and that's right. Tonight, I am joined by none other than, well, tonight he's not going by J-Mac and Chili, he's not going by J-Mac and Cheese, or J-Mac and Crackers. Tonight is just plain old J-Mac. So, how's it going tonight?
Oh, it's good. It stopped raining, so that's always a good thing.
All right, and of course, guess what? Guess who's making a surprise appearance tonight? He goes by none other than Mess Around Dave. How's it going tonight, buddy?
I'm good. It's good to be out and about and out of quarantine.
All right, I love it. Okay, but before we get started here, we do have a little bit of housekeeping that we need to take care of. So, Mr. Nate the Great, go ahead and pull up that little bit of Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry.
Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us, from all of us here at the ASAP Network.
Paparazzi Jewelry. I gotta cool myself off because with that ad, it gets so hot up in here. All right, and then of course our second ad of the night, Mr. Nate the Great. Why don't you go ahead and pull up that little bit of that Misty Meadows? My, oh my, oh my. I love me some Misty Meadows. You know why? Because I love barbecue sauce. I love jelly. I love it all. I gotta have it. I just gotta have it. All right, and then, of course, J-Mac, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you can win one of those free shirts, huh?
Well, look, I'll tell you how easy this is. You want to talk about easy? There's nothing as easy as this. You watch the show. You get on your computer and you use your little fingers and you type a comment in there, and then you like it and you share it. That's it. There's nothing else to it. Get your name in the drawing for a free t-shirt. That simple.
All right. So mess around. Tell me, if you can't come on and you can't comment or you're scared to or whatever, but you still want one of those shirts, how can you get one of those shirts?
That's easy. If you don't want to do any of that, just get a hold of anybody on the network. Tell us you want a shirt. We'll put the order in, $14.99 plus shipping and handling. Sizes are small through 2XL. The bigger sizes cost a little more. So,
yes, because keep in mind you can't get them. They do just cost a little bit more, but that's okay. You can still get them. So just hit up anybody on the network, and we'll make sure you get one of those shirts ASAP. All right, so we know that virtually every week that one of the topics we do are on female sports because I personally think it's a big topic that we touch on. So this week, our first topic was what female athlete meant the most to her sport. And for me personally, I wanted to start out with this one because this is one of my favorite topics that we get to talk about. So when people think about tennis, it's kind of interesting because when people talk about who meant more to tennis, one of the first names that people think about is Serena Williams. They think about Martina Navratilova. They might even think about Venus. But you know what? I actually went a different route. I'm like, it's not Serena, it's not Martina. There was actually there was actually an individual before them that meant just a little bit more. That, if you think about it, actually put tennis on the map. And she goes by the name of Steffi Graf. Because when you look at Steffi Graf, what has Steffi Graf done? Well, she's the only tennis player to win each Grand Slam tournament at least 4 times. And when I mean 4 times, this is like 4 times in a calendar year. And so now this is not only on the female side, but this is also on the male side. And I'm not talking about 4 Grand Slams in a professional career. I'm talking about 4 Grand Slams in a calendar year. So when you look at that, that's pretty impressive. And then when you look at the overall, she also won what's called the Golden Slam. So when it comes to the Golden Slam, that's winning all 4 Grand Slam single titles and the Olympic gold medal in the same calendar year. Steffi Graf was also a lady who was ranked number 1 in the world in tennis for 377 consecutive weeks. That's never been done between a male or female in the tennis world. And it's kind of interesting when people talk about tennis, and they even go back to as far as Billie Jean King. But Billie Jean King is the one who actually came out and said, if you have to talk about one of the greatest female tennis players ever, you got to put Steffi Graf in that. And you know what? I completely agree. I've been big on Serena Williams. I've been big on Venus, but how can you not put Steffi Graf in that conversation? Because she doesn't only hold titles from the men's and women's side. It's so impressive. And then the last thing that she did, she's the only one of 2 females to ever win 3 Grand Slam tournaments in a calendar year 5 times. 5 times. She did it 5 times. Talk about impressive. That's right. So Steffi Graf to me meant more to tennis than pretty much any other female out there. I don't want to take away from what Serena Williams is doing now, because Serena Williams for the longest time, I mean, I'll put this out there and say she dominated the sport of tennis. She did, and I'm not taking that away from Serena. But Steffi Graf, you got to give her a little bit of credit for what she has done. All right, so J-Mac, what female do you think meant the most to her sport?
I searched on this, and I'll tell you, for me, it's the female that meant more to her sport than anybody, to me, is Mia Hamm. And it's because in the 90s, I knew nothing about women's soccer. I actually didn't even know it existed. I'll admit that. And then Mia Hamm comes along and puts women's U.S. soccer on the map, and was very good at her sport. Is she the greatest female athlete ever? No. Is she the greatest female soccer athlete ever? Possibly. And so for me, Mia Hamm, everyone talks about statistics. I mean, she doesn't have the greatest statistics. She didn't score a goal in every game she ever played in. She didn't, not that, but she brought USA women's soccer to a whole new level. And I don't think that anyone's ever going to get that level again, because now everyone knows about it. And so for me, it's Mia Hamm. Can't say her name enough. Mia Hamm. I'll say it again. So Mia Hamm.
Mia Hamm. All right, Mr. Mess Around Dave, who do you got?
I'm going with Ronda Rousey for what she did in the UFC. She totally put the women's division on the map. She was the first female fighter to sign with the UFC. And 3 months later, she was the first female to headline main event, a UFC event. And I mean, she did everything for the sport as far as women's division. Put it on the map, carried it. She was the baddest woman on the planet until she wasn't. I know she kind of fizzled out at the end there, but if it wasn't for her, UFC women's fighting wouldn't be where it is today. So she's my woman for the most that meant the most to her sport.
Yeah, so when it comes to this topic, there's so many different sports you could look at. You can look at the softball world, you can look at the tennis world, you can look at the soccer world. I mean, you could look at the WNBA, you could look at volleyball. And when you look at volleyball, obviously you think of Misty May Trainer, right? Like that's one of the first people you think of in volleyball. Okay, but I think there's actually another sport that people overlook on the female side, and that's actually ice skating. Because when you think about ice skating, or I should say figure skating in a way, but when you think of figure skating and mess around, I told you this before, the one name that you immediately comes to mind is Christy Yamaguchi, because she's the one that as an ice skater, you're like, oh, you know what? If you're a female and you see her ice skate, you're like, maybe I want to do that because she revolutionized the ice skating for females. But so that was my honorable mention. But my final question before we go ahead and wrap this up is that, as you see, the slide we have is of Serena Williams, and I talked a little bit about her because of what she's done in tennis. But where do you guys think Serena Williams ranks on the greatest female athlete of all time? Where do you think she ranks? And J-Mac, I'll go ahead and I'll start with you.
I know every time you ask me these, I always have some long rambling on answer because it's not that simple, and it's still not that simple for this one for me, because you talk from a purely talent level, she's top 2 all time for female athletes. If you talk about what she meant to her sport and where she ranks when you think of female athletes, she's definitely top 5. For me, she's something like 4. Probably 4th all time for female athletes. And it's just, look at what she's done. You can't talk anything bad about her accomplishments. I have not a bad thing to say. I can't give you a disappointing thing about Serena Williams. So, yeah, probably 4 for me.
All right, Messer, what do you think?
I'd put her in the top 3, just like J-Mac said. What she's done for the sport, and you can't take anything away from her. Really, she dominated for so long. She won everything there is to win. So she's definitely top 3.
Yeah, and what's interesting about Serena Williams is when you look at her, she's not only won the singles titles, but she's also won the doubles with Venus multiple times. So you put her and Venus together, they can dominate tennis. Serena Williams can dominate it alone. But, I mean, me personally, yeah, she's top 5 of one of the greatest female athletes ever. But Steffi Graf, I still have to put Steffi Graf above her because of the accomplishments that Steffi Graf has done and actually put tennis, so to say, on the map. And an interesting statistic that a lot of people probably didn't know about female sports is that when you look at the percentage around the world of people who actually watched female sports for a while, it was roughly around 25% of males for the longest time that wanted to watch female sports. That number has now actually jumped up to 80%. So you can see now the type of athletes that we're getting now, and you can look in the 90s and 2000s, and now the female sports are starting to revolutionize because of the individuals that we're starting to get in these sports. And it could be because of people like Serena Williams and Mia Hamm and Jenny Finch and individuals like that. And so maybe it's time that female athletes start getting the respect they deserve and start getting paid a little bit more than what they are now. because it's at that point now to where I'm like, man, they're not getting that respect. They're not even getting any paid even anywhere near the male athletes are. All right. So that was my little spiel on the female athletes. That was all I really have to say on that. Do you guys have anything else left to say on this topic of the female athlete?
All I could say is if you guys haven't watched college softball, fast pitch, women's college softball, you guys are missing possibly the top 3 greatest sport on this planet. These girls are amazing. And I'm telling you, I have stood in there and taken a pitch when they throw that thing underhand as fast as they can. No, thank you. No, thanks.
So
I don't want to try to hit it.
So, Messeran, what do you think? Do you have any final comments on the female sports side?
Just I agree they should be paid more. Maybe not the same as men, but they definitely deserve more than what they're getting.
Yeah, it's not. It's interesting though because when you look at the WNBA, it's astonishing what some of these women in the WNBA can do. And like these WNBA games are almost just as entertaining as the actual NBA games are. So people should go out there and actually watch the WNBA a little bit more. I'm just saying. So we need to put that out there, and people need to go out there and start watching that. All right, Mr. Nate the Great, on to the next slide. So the next slide is we're going to be talking about who is the most surprising hockey team so far. And when you look at that, you can either be the most surprising by a team doing bad or a team doing really, really good. And so, J-Mac, on this one, I'll go ahead and start with you. Who is your most surprising hockey team so far?
And it's tough. There's actually been a lot of surprises to me this year, whether it's been good or bad. I'm going to stick with my pick before the season. I'm going to tell you that it's the Columbus Blue Jackets for me. I think that they played better than everyone else thought they would. I thought they were going to play good before the season started. I actually picked them as my dark horse team. I was just looking to look some stuff up for them, and I would go. I could sit here and talk about the Red Wings and how bad they are. We all know they're terrible, so that's not really a big surprise. But the Blue Jackets being right in the thick of things, I mean, they're third in their division, and I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but you're talking about a team that's made the playoffs one time in their 13th season now as a team, something like that, 12, 13 years. They made the playoffs one time, and they're third in their division. They're a game over 500. And I just think that, they're playing better than everyone else. So that's probably my surprise team of the year.
All right. So, Messeran, before I go to you quick, I want to answer Brandon's question. Yes, Brandon, you did miss the first topic. The first topic was actually what female athlete did we think mean more to their sport? So that was the first topic that we actually did. And I want to throw a shout out to say, hello, Suzanne. Hello, Brandon. And hello, Lisa Halverson. We're glad you guys are on. All right. Now, mess around, Dave. And I know you want to say the Chicago Blackhawks, but I know you know better. So I know you're going to stay away from the Blackhawks. So you go ahead and you take it away.
Well, you guys know I'm not really a big hockey guy per se. So I did a little research, and I was looking at everything. And my biggest surprise is Calgary Flames being under 500. They were a good team last year, and they were over 500. So to me, it's the Calgary being under 500.
Calgary Flames.
Let me ask you a question, though. I know you're not a big hockey guy, mess around, but I have a follow-up question to that. Now, the Calgary Flames being under 500, Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that it's gone to an all-Canada division this year and they're only playing the teams from Canada?
Yeah, because they get to play teams like Toronto and Montreal, and so going up against those squads, they're probably better than Montreal. I don't know. I don't follow hockey. Maybe they are, but yeah, that could be a big reason why.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about it is now you're bringing up the Canadian teams, and so actually it's kind of funny when you talk about the most surprising teams in the NHL this year, because I actually went with one. I actually went with the Montreal Canadiens, and the reason I did it is because when you look at the Montreal Canadiens last year, where did they rank at the end of the season last year? They actually ranked 12th overall. And where are they this year right now? This year right now, they're actually number 2 in the whole entire NHL. And they were 12th in the East last year. That was just the East. And this year, number 2 in the whole NHL. So right now, the Montreal Canadiens to me are a surprising team. Yeah, they're a Canadian team, so they're generally pretty good, but I was not expecting them to be this good. And when I
understand. But again, I'll say I think that has to do with playing only in Canada, because you get to beat up on teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs. You get to beat up on them. You get to beat up on your teams that aren't very good over and over and over again. So yeah. I think that definitely has helped the Canadians this year.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, don't forget though that the Toronto Maple Leafs this year are not a bad team. They're actually a pretty good team. But
I mean, I know that. I'm not saying that they're a bad team this year, but overall, again, the Canadians are second in all of the NHL. And you can attribute it to the fact that strength of schedule. We always talk about that in other sports, and we don't talk about it so much in hockey. But this year, realignment definitely helped for a few teams. And one of the teams that benefited from that definitely was the Canadians.
Yeah, so going back to the Montreal Canadiens for a second here, for a little bit of their success that they've had this year was because you have a guy by Jeff Petrie, which is the defenseman, and has actually played really well. He's actually second right now in the league at 14 points, and he's been playing really, really well. Can he keep it up? I don't know. It's yet to be seen. I know that the Canadian teams are going to be there. They're going to, or I should say the Montreal Canadiens, they're going to be there. They're going to compete. But I don't know if they can stay in the 2 seed. That's going to be really, really tough for Montreal to do. There's too many good teams out there. There's just too many good teams. Now, a big pickup for Montreal this year that I wasn't sure about when they got him, but was actually Jake Allen. So the goalie in Jake Allen this year has really stepped up. He's been really good. His average goal per game right now is actually 1.86. So can he keep that going? Because right now he's in the top 5 for all goalies in the NHL. So Montreal Canadiens are there. But as you see at the bottom of the screen here, the reason I put the Florida Panthers up there is because we've seen how good the Florida Panthers are doing this year. That was actually a surprise too. Yes, last year they were really good, but I mean this year they're like really, really, really good. So how far can the Florida Panthers go? I mean, and can they keep this going? I really think they can. They've looked really good. And
sure, so, I mean, I think they can, but I still don't think that I still don't think that they're beating the Lightning or the Stars, and
no,
they're not beating them. But they will make a run. They will make a deep run in the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely!
And I'll call that right now for the Florida Panthers. So mark my words.
And so that's the only reason I had to put that out there, because the Florida Panthers has been one of those teams that I'm like, are they really this good, or is this just a beginning of the year fluke thing? But I'm like, no, I think they're gonna keep it going, and they're gonna end up making that deep run.
Hey, we got to save some of this for the NHL show. That we're going to debut soon, because man, I could go on about this all night. Like, I could talk about the NHL. We could take the entire show to do this. So let's not mess around to this. He's down there falling asleep at the bottom.
I know. I'm sorry, man. You got us going on some tangents and hockey here, but that's okay. I'll move on. All right. So
thank you.
So our next topic of the night is we're going to actually look on the PGA side of things. So as we know, right now is the Phoenix Open is happening this weekend. They've already been through 3 rounds. And so I want to hear your guys' opinion about who you guys feel is going to win the Phoenix Open. I had to go with my guy that I've always said has been my favorite. He's an up-and-comer. He's not my favorite golfer of all time, but he's currently one of my favorites. And of course, it's Scotty Scheffler, because he's so young. He's got a lot of talent, and he's going to only get better and better and better and better. And so when you look at Scotty Scheffler, well, what has he done? So keep in mind that the overall par in this is 71. So in the first round, he shot a 67 in the first round. And so he had 1 bogey in that first round, which isn't too bad. If you can keep it to 1 bogey throughout your rounds, hey, you know what? That's awesome through 18 holes, because you know what it's like, on that golf course. I mean, we've tried it multiple times, and if I can keep it to 8 bogeys in a 9-hole course, you know what? I'm doing good there. So Scott Scheffler.
Hey, we if we play 18 holes and I keep it under 100, I'm like, man, I shot great today.
Exactly. I will be completely happy with that. But going back to Scotty Scheffler here for a second. So he actually had a birdie or better in 9 of 18 holes, and that was in the first round. And then you look at round 2, he had a score of 65. So he came out the round 2 on the second day and played better. And I'm like, okay, this is the Scotty Scheffler that I know. So is he going to continue to get better? And the second day, absolutely. Round 2, thank you. Awesome round. And he had 1 eagle and 7 birdies. And guess what? He did not bogey in round 2. So, all right. And then you look at round 3, he had a score of 66. So he's been consistent with his scores this weekend. He did have a bogey in round 3, which came on hole 11. For some reason, Scotty Scheffler on hole 11 this whole tournament has really struggled on hole 11, and I don't know why. Maybe that hole 11 is in his head, because he bogeyed on hole 11 twice, and I don't know why. But 6 birdies. So far this weekend, he's at 15 under. And he only trails the leader by 3 strokes. And I truly believe that he's going to be able to pull that out tomorrow. He's going to have to play really I know you're shaking your head saying no. He's going to have to come out and play really, really well, but I think he can do it. I've seen him do it before. I have seen him come out and absolutely ball out there, and I know he can. So, J-Mac, is you shaking your head no, so you go ahead and tell me what you got, because I think Scotty Scheffler's going to pull it off tomorrow.
That's fine. But Jordan Spieth ain't giving up that lead, man. I mean, okay, but he shot a 61.
Hey, Jordan
he shot a 10 under today.
He's tied for first, though.
10 under. He does that tomorrow, he's going to run away with this thing. Like, 10 under. He shot a 61.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. He's 18 under through 3 rounds.
Keep in mind though, round 3 was his best round. Round 1 and 2, he was there. Like he was even with Scheffler. He came out today, and Jordan Spieth balled today. He came out and putted in really, really well. So I'll give him credit today. It's 61. He came out. He was great. But can he do it again tomorrow? I don't know. But
yeah, he can.
You go.
I mean, so just say so. If he comes out and shoots a six, even if he shoots a 62 tomorrow, okay, a 62, then I mean, Scotty Scheffler would have to shoot a 59.
And you don't think he can?
A 59?
You don't think he can shoot a 59?
No.
He's done it before. He's done it before.
A 12. You're going to get 12 under in round 4.
I'm saying he's done it before.
Oh,
He's
come
come out.
on.
I'm saying he's done it before.
No. I want to hear mess around now. He's got to end this debate.
For this weekend's event,
Yes.
Jordan Spieth's going to run away with this thing.
Oh,
He played amazing today. Scheffler's Achilles heel is hole 11, like you said, and it's gonna continue to bite him in the butt. So I think that's gonna lose the whole thing for him if he even gets close.
oh man, you guys are killing me
In
here.
the bag, bro.
You guys are absolutely killing me here.
What, a 59? You're telling me he's going to come out and shoot a 59, and that's if Spaeth doesn't shoot the way he did today.
I don't think he does.
Oh, okay. Even if he doesn't, even if he's off by 2 strokes, he's still going to have to shoot a 59. He's not shooting a 59.
I think tomorrow, mark my words, I think tomorrow Jordan Spieth comes out, and I'm telling you, I think he comes out, and I think he shoots a 67. I really think he does. I really think I really think he does.
He's going to drop 6 strokes. Oh, no.
Yes.
No.
Everybody has
Their
their
this thing. It's Spaeth's tournament to lose.
Scotty Scheffler has come
Okay.
out before, and
Okay.
he's done this before.
Okay.
He's done this before.
All right. Just okay. So he's 18 under. He comes out tomorrow and shoots a 67. That would put him at 22 under for the tournament. Okay. That means that then now Scotty is 7 shots behind before he starts his round, which means he's still going to have to shoot a 63.
And you don't think he can shoot a 63?
Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, he can. He can do it.
Oh man. No.
People are overlooking Scotty Scheffler. He's young. He's hungry. He's got a lot of talent. Scotty
I'm
Scheffler
not saying he's
has a ton
not
of talent.
talented. I'm not saying he is, but man, no. Jordan Spieth is going to win this thing. He's going to run away with this.
I agree.
But I will say, mess around Dave's well, I wouldn't say his favorite golfer, but the guy that mess around always rides with was not in this tournament, and it was Dustin Johnson. So, and that's the way that mess around always. That mess around always rides with Dustin Johnson almost every single tournament there is. But when I don't go for Scotty Scheffler, I actually go with Justin Rose. But Justin Rose is not relevant at this point in time. But it's Scotty Scheffler. So I'm rolling with Scotty Scheffler. When Scotty Scheffler comes out and wins Phoenix Open tomorrow, then J-Mac will have to come on Sports Minute on Wednesday and eat that humble pie. So
No, he's not, because your boy is not going to win. Spaeth's going to win.
And Dave, that'll mean you have to too. You will have to come out and eat some humble pie also when Scotty Scheffler comes back and wins this.
Not happening.
Oh, absolutely. It's happening.
It's not happening, bro.
So before we go on to our last
I will braid my beard live on air if Spaeth loses this tournament to Scheffler.
Oh wow.
So what are you throwing out there then?
Do I get to pick the colors of the braid?
I don't know about that.
Navy blue and orange.
That will never happen.
If Spaeth loses or wins tomorrow, if Spaeth comes out and wins tomorrow and beats Scotty Scheffler, like I'm saying, I will come on here and I will say that the San Antonio Spurs are the greatest basketball team ever.
Done. There's your bet, Brandon Herrera. There's the bet you wanted.
Because I am not a San Antonio Spurs fan, and so if it's all right, if Spaeth wins, then I'll come on Wednesday and say that San Antonio Spurs is the greatest NBA team ever.
You better start practicing. You're lying.
And mess around. But here's your thing.
Okay.
If Scheffler pulls this off, I want you to come on air on Wednesday or whenever you get a chance on your next time on air. You're gonna have to come out here and you're gonna have to be like, all right, guys, I am sorry for disrespecting that bad man in Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL, and I'm sorry that I come out here and I constantly disrespect the bad man in Aaron Rodgers.
You're killing me, Smalls. I can't do that. I hate that guy with a passion. Even though he just won the MVP award tonight, I still hate that guy.
Well,
deal, because Jordan Spaeth's winning, and I'm not going to have to say it.
All right, he's going deal. All right, so be practicing because it's coming. All right. So now we'll go on to our next topic of the night, which is actually, we're going to talk about some MLB. So we're going to talk about some MLB free agent signings or even trades for that matter. So mess around on this one. I'll go ahead and start out with you. What is the biggest move that you think has happened and is the most important right now that we've seen?
For me, it's the most recent one that just happened. Trevor Bauer going to the Dodgers. He gives them 1 through 5. Their rotation's so solid. I know they're going out and trying to buy another championship, but for me, it's Trevor Bauer. You put him in that rotation with Kershaw, Price, and Buehler. That rotation's stacked.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. I'm a diehard Braves fan, and that was like the last thing I wanted was for the Dodgers to get Bauer, and they got him. But yet again, it's another one of those things. They're having to go out and buy another championship. That's the problem. That has been my biggest issue with the Dodgers forever. So J-Mac, you go ahead and you tell me, what do you think?
Well, it's the Arenado deal. I mean, you got to be kidding me. How do the Rockies give away the best thing that's happened to them in 15 years? I don't understand. And you paid them $50 million. Who signed me up to be a GM if that's the kind of deals that I can get from another team? Man, that's insane. How do you give away your best player and pay a team $50 million? That's crazy. Whoever saw that deal coming down? I never would have thought about that. I never would have think that was going to happen. And then that's the biggest trade. And for me, the biggest free agent signing, and I know I'm going to sound like a homer on this, honestly, but it's Ozuna coming back to Atlanta. The guy won the Silver Slugger last year. He was the Triple Crown winner in the NL. And how do you not see that as the biggest offseason free agent signing? Like, he came back and he's going to solidify that. He's going to solidify that offense.
So I will say it's a big signing, but I did have my reservations about it. And the only reason I had my reservations about the Ozuna signing was simply because he is a defensive liability. He is. Can his bat make up for it? Well, it can. But what are you going to do when he starts to struggle in the outfield because you don't have a DH? And so that was my only problem with the Ozuna deal. Now, we saw a trade go down today on the MLB side, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on that. So,
before you go there, I just got to say, by the way, that Alex Anthopoulos has to be the greatest GM almost in Major League history. He has 3 guys. So you've signed, 4 guys. You've signed Acuna, Freeman, Albies, and Ozuna, and you paid those guys less than $100 million. And you have them locked up for at least 4 years together in the next 4 years on that team. Tell me that's not impressive.
Cool. Yeah, no, it is. But is it going to be good enough to compete with this stacked Dodgers team? Now, the biggest thing about this, though, so we all know that Atlanta needs a third baseman. We have talked about it for a while. Who's still out there? Well, Justin Turner. And so what this Trevor Bauer deal does on the free agent market is it kind of hurts the Dodgers in a way to try and sign Justin Turner. So that gives Atlanta maybe that glimmer of hope that, you know what? We might be able to get Justin Turner, and I really hope we can. But before we go too much into that, I do want to talk about the trade that happened today between Elvis and Andrews and who they call Crush Davis, which is known as Chris Davis. Now, to me, what do I think about the trade? I mean, we know that Chris Davis really isn't – he's basically a home run or nothing guy. That's basically what Chris Davis is. So the Rangers making this deal, obviously you see that they're in rebuild mode. I mean, that's pretty much what they are. So they have one guy left to go and Gallo. So that's like the only guy left that they have left to trade, and I think it's going to be coming at some point. But J-Mac, so tell me, what do you think of this trade?
Well, I thought it was brilliant, to be honest. I mean, they bring in Andrus, and by the way, the Rangers are another one of those teams. They sent Andrus and $15 million to the A's for Chris Davis. So what the A's get away from is a guy who either swings and misses or hits a home run, and they get a great defensive player in Andrus and a solid guy with a bat, and they get $15 million towards his salary. So, I mean, that's a brilliant move if you're the A's. It makes you relevant in the West, that's for sure.
All right, so mess around. What do you think?
I think it's a great deal for the A's. Like J-Mac said, you give it to Davis, who barely hit 200 last year and only hit 2 home runs and strikes out a ton. And you get a guy that could play defense and has a basic defense. So, plus, like J-Mac said, you give me $15 million to get rid of Davis. I'll take that twice on Sundays.
Ooh. Yeah. Yes, I'm waiting because we know that more moves are going to happen, but I want to see how much pitching trades there's going to be out there, because I think there's going to be some more pitching that's going to be happening here.
Well, you don't have too much longer. You know, today's the 6th of February, and pitchers and catchers report on the 25th this year, I believe, is the tentative day. Let's go tentative, because we know how baseball is up in the air right now. But you're talking 19 days, so like 3 weeks, and you're going to have pitchers and catchers reporting for spring training, as long as everything stays on track. But still, you don't have much time to solidify your team before spring training starts. So anyone thank you, Tim Fielder, February 15th. And again, that's if everything stays on track, so you don't have very long. That's, crazy.
Yeah. So
that's a great point. Brandon Herrera, that's a great point. Thank you for that. The A's got $13.5 million in the deal. So the Rangers are essentially sending Andrus to the A's and then paying him to play for another team in the same division.
Yeah, which you know that Chris Davis is not the same as Andrus. I'll tell you that now. He's definitely not even close to that same player that he was. So, all right. So before we go on to our next thing, what is something that you guys would like to see happen as far as trades or free agent signings? What's one thing that you're waiting for? And J-Mac, I'll start with you on this.
I mean, that's tough. Like, I was waiting to see where Ozuna was going to go. He's back with Atlanta. I guess I would like to see Atlanta bring in a third baseman. I don't know if Justin Turner's the answer, but yeah, they could make a deal for a third baseman. I think that'd be okay. I don't have anyone in mind, by the way. Bring in a solid third baseman. That's really that would kind of put the icing on the cake.
All right, mess around. What do you think?
For me, I'd like to see my White Sox solidify the back end of that starting rotation, because 1 through 3, they're pretty solid, but back end, they got a lot of question marks. I know they just brought back Carlos Rodon, but he's not going to be anything special. And they got question marks with Michael Kopech coming back. Don't know if he's going to be the same or if he lost any velocity on that fastball after having Tommy John. I don't have anybody in mind as far as who they should go out and get, but they need to go out and get somebody to solidify the back end of that starting rotation.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If you want the White Sox to go after somebody for bullpen, what they need to do on the free agent market is they need to look at Shane Green, because Shane Green can help them bullpen-wise. Like, I know a little bit last year he struggled at times, but Shane Green can close games. He is a closer. And so if that's the kind of bullpen help you want, Shane Green would be good in that.
I don't want bullpen help. I want starting rotation help. They need starting rotation help at the back of that rotation. Their bullpen's going to be fine. They went out and signed Liam Hendricks, who's been one of the best closers in baseball for the A's the last couple of years. So,
well, I will say this. If you want to take a chance, because we took a chance last year and it didn't pan out, but if you want to take a chance, you still have a guy by the name of Cole Hamels that's hanging out there on the free agent market. Now, if you want to take a chance, you can take a chance. Maybe you'll get more from him than Atlanta ever did.
I think Cole Hamels is done. I think he's washed up. He might be a good starter on the team, but he's not ace mentality anymore for sure.
Well, you have Arrieta that's still out there. The thing is you just never know what you're going to get from these guys that are still out there that have even been pitching for a while. You just don't know. But I don't know. I'm excited to see where all this is going to roll. I'm waiting to see some more signings. I would like to see Atlanta make one more move, especially for a third baseman. I really hope it's Justin Turner. That's what I want to see. And last but not least on this, because it is the Rangers, and we were just talking about them. So, J-Mac, and I'm sure you're pretty happy about this one too, but the Rangers signed Mike Fultonevich. So, and we know what we went through as Atlanta Braves fans with Mike Fultonevich. So the Rangers have signed him to try and upgrade their starting rotation. And my God, that's not going to make your starting rotation any better.
I mean, why would I be excited about that signing?
Because he's away from Atlanta.
Well, that's true, but man, the Rangers are grasping at straws. They're drowning, and they got that one last straw above the water, and they're just trying to grasp in there. Man, I'm sorry, and I got to say, Nate, if I was a Rangers fan right now, we need to all check on our Ranger friends and make sure they're not hanging in the closet or something. Because man, it's bad.
Well, okay, but the thing is I wouldn't go as far as saying it's as bad as Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh's going to be they're going to be bad. They're going to be really bad.
The Rangers aren't going to be much better.
I think they're going to be much better than what Pittsburgh is going to be.
No, the Rangers aren't going to have – I mean, they'll be a little better. Okay, let me rephrase that. Pittsburgh will struggle to win 40 games, but the Rangers will struggle to win 50 games. So we could have a season where neither team – we've got two teams that have less than 50 wins this year. Who are the Rangers going to beat in the AL? Well, I guess anyone in the Central. Never mind. I take that back. The Central's just a mess. That's a terrible division.
Yeah. All right. So mess around. You weren't on here last time we had talked about this, but we had talked about how the Pirates are such a mess right now. We all know that the Pirates are a mess. And now we know that the Rangers are a mess. The Rockies are starting to become a mess. I mean, yeah, they still have Trevor Story and Charlie Blackmon, but they're starting to slowly go down too. You also have the Detroit Tigers. You have the Kansas City Royals. So you have quite a few teams out there. And the Baltimore Orioles, which keep in mind, they traded their best pitcher in Alex Cobb. So he's no longer there either. So now think about these teams that are complete mess. And tell me, who do you think is going to finish the worst out of all those pathetic teams?
Colorado. And why? Because I think they're going to blow it up. They've already traded the Arenado. So I think they're gonna trade. They're gonna trade Trevor Story at some point, and then Blackman, and then they really have nobody after that. So I think it's Colorado's going to be the worst team.
Wow, that actually shocks me that you did not put the Pirates as the worst team, and because they have nobody left. They completely destroyed their organization.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know what to say with you saying that, man.
I just think Colorado's going to be the worst because they're going to blow it up eventually, and they're going to be just as bad as those other teams, if not worse.
Worse than the Pirates?
Yes, I'm telling you right now, on record, they're going to be worse than the Pirates.
The Rockies. We're talking about the same Colorado team. Just check it.
Okay, so best round. Let me ask you this. So you're trying to say that the Rockies are going to be worse than the Pittsburgh Pirates, okay? But the Colorado Rockies still have Charlie Blackmon and Trevor Story, okay? Name two guys, two all-stars that play for the Pittsburgh Pirates. There is nobody.
I just think they're going to be worse once they blow it up, and they're going to blow it up. They're going to get rid of Story, and they're going to get rid of Blackmon, and then they're just going to be as bad as these other teams.
Name the Pirates' ace.
I couldn't tell you Colorado's either.
and it's not Talion anymore because he is gone. The Pirates traded him into the Yankees. So
I'm just saying it's going to be a 3-team race for who's the worst in the league.
Those are going to be some fun games to watch. Pirates and Rockies. Man, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that television. That's going to be insane.
It's going to be like a 1-1 or 2-1 game.
All right.
13-11, 15-19.
So now we get to move on to one of Ace's mini games. But the thing is tonight we were expecting to do our GM game again, but Vic is having some Wi-Fi problems, and so we can't do that tonight. So we'll save that for Wednesday. We'll go on from there to Wednesday. But tonight I do have another little Aces mini game that we're going to play, and J-Mac's going to love this because we've done this one other time, but it's not going to be as bad as it was the first time. And that's right, I'm talking about some trivia questions, but they're not going to be as bad as they were.
Well, Vic's not here, so she can't get thrown the easy questions, and Will's not here, so he can't get thrown the who's the third string quarterback for the Patriots in 1996. So we should be all right.
Yeah, I think that you'll be completely okay with this one. And so the first question that is going to actually go with Mess Around Dave. So who's going to win on the trivia side between Mess Around Dave and J-Mac? Well, we'll find out. And now keep in mind, these are NFL trivia questions. And so who wants the first one? Is it going to be J-Mac or is it going to be Mess Around Dave?
We'll
Mess Around's a guest. He can have it.
Okay.
All right. So, all right.
Okay.
What? All right. So the first question comes to you. What Native American language was Super Bowl 30 the first to be broadcasted in?
I'm so glad you got the first question.
I hate you right now. What was the question again? What native language?
Native American language was Super Bowl 30 the first to be broadcasted in?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I'm just going to throw it out. Super Bowl 15.
No. What language? What language? What language?
What language?
Yeah, it says, what Native American language was Super Bowl 30 the first to be broadcasted in? So this was the language that was put out there for the first time.
Everybody knows, but
I don't know.
okay.
Pass.
Pass.
I wanted to tell you something.
Iroquois.
No, the correct answer
County Health
is Navajo.
today,
Huh.
and they
I would
All
think.
right.
Coos County Health,
So J-Mac, you get the next question.
and they cleared me from isolation.
Oh boy, he gets an easy one.
Sure.
How
you do.
many years must a player be retired to be eligible for the Pro Football Hall of
5.
Fame? Wow. So J-Mac gets – so there's a point for J-Mac. A point. There's one for J-Mac. Now we go to Mess Around Dave. And so last time it was interesting because Will got some very hard questions the last time, and Will did not like it. And Vic was getting a lot of easy ones. But that's just how it was falling. So now Mess Around. Your question is, what was Miami Dolphins' Bob Greasy, the first NFL football player to wear in a game in 1977?
What was the what?
What was Miami quarterback Bob Greasy the first NFL player to wear in a game in 1977? So what did he wear first before anybody else wore in an NFL game?
A visor?
No, J-Mac, you can steal it.
It's eyeglasses.
Is it?
Told David
It was eyeglasses.
to get it again after.
Mess around. I'm sitting here doing this.
I know. I thought you were talking about visor.
All right, so now J-Mac, the next question comes to you. All right, what record-setting quarterback was the NFL's 82nd pick in 1979?
1979.
Record-setting quarterback.
Honey water.
Oh, man.
I went and had to go. Yeah, I said it was. Even after push it.
Record setter.
Yep, got an answer. The question goes over to Mess Around Dave.
I think it was after his time, but I'm going to go Johnny Unitas. But I think that was late,
And
too late
J-Mac,
for him.
your question, or I should say your answer, that is incorrect. So, Dave, you can steal the point on this one. Who was it?
What record-setting quarterback was drafted in second overall in 79?
What record-setting quarterback was the NFL's 82nd draft pick in 1979?
That's all they had. That's
Joe Montana?
That is the correct answer. It's Joe Montana. Mess Around Dave gets the point.
Guys, and when I talk to guys, like, they can't do that right now. They had a whole
I was actually surprised that J-Mac didn't know that. I figured he probably would.
I totally blanked on that.
All right. So, J-Mac, your next question is, what sportscaster posted an NFL coaching record of 103, 22,
John Madden.
and 6? Okay. So, that is the correct answer. It's John Madden. Okay. So, Mess Around Dave. What were NFL players required to wear in games for the first time in 1943?
Helmets?
And that was the correct answer. Helmets. So there you go. So Mess Around Dave with another point. You're trying to make a comeback here. You're trying to make a comeback, okay? So J-Mac, your question must be what 3 NFL teams had lost 4 Super Bowls each through 1996?
What? How many teams?
There was 3 NFL teams
3
that lost.
So
yeah,
the
that
3
lost.
would have been the Bills. Obviously, is 1. The Vikings is 2, and through 96, right?
Yeah, yes, through 96.
The Broncos.
That is the correct answer. It is the Buffalo Bills, the Vikings, and the Broncos.
Yep.
And it sounds like Mess Around Dave actually knew that answer too.
I did.
All right, so Mess Around. Here's your question. Who has scored the most points for the Broncos in all of their Super Bowls combined? Touchdown, field goals, and extra points.
John Elway?
That is correct. John Elway. So there was, and the last question that you had about the teams, Brandon actually said the Vikings, the Bills, and the Cowboys. So you were getting there, okay? So there was that one here. Let me bring up another question for you here. I gotta backtrack a little bit here. And oh dang it! All right, hold on here. My thing's freezing up here. All right, so NFL trivia here. So some trivia questions we have. Who was and whose question is this?
J-Mac.
J-Max, right? Who was the second overall pick in the 2017 NFL draft?
I'm getting my weapon. Stop! I'm trying to get my weapon.
Mariota.
No, the second overall pick in that draft. Oh, wait. I can't say it because Mess Around can steal. I forgot. Mess Around has a chance to steal that.
It's second round in the 2017 draft.
Yes.
It's Mitchell Trubisky, right?
It's Trubisky.
Yes, it's Trubisky.
Yep.
It is Trubisky.
If I would have got that wrong, I would have been. What kind of Bears fan am I?
All right.
I was
Okay.
kidding. I had to give you a hint.
All right. So Mess Around Dave. Who was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders for just one season in 2011?
Ooh, it's tough. For one game, you said?
No, for one season. There was a coach that was there for one season, and then they got rid of him.
Was it Art Shell?
No. J-Mac, you have a chance to steal.
Lane Kiffin.
No, that was not the correct answer either. So the correct answer was actually Hugh Jackson.
Oh, God. How did I not remember that? Probably
Hugh Jackson.
Raiders fan.
All right. Whose question is this? This was J-Max. We got 2 questions left for each of you. What Nate the Great, what is the score? Let's put the score up here on the board so we can see. And he's going to put the score up here in just a second here. And I'll wait for it. Oh, it's 4-4. It is 4-4 with 2 rounds left each. All right. J-Mac, your question. In 2001, Larry Allen made the NFL Pro Bowl for which team?
Dallas Cowboys.
And that is correct. So that is another point for J-Mac. J-Mac is now up 5-4. All right. Mess Around Dave. The next question is for you. Who started the season as head coach for the St. Louis Rams in 2008?
Was it Mike Martz?
No.
Ah.
No, it was not. J-Mac, I guess you have a chance to steal.
Oh, man, I know this. I can see his face. Scott Linehan.
That is the correct answer, Scott Linehan. Okay. All right, so J-Mac, this question goes to you. Who was the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns at the beginning of the 2011 season?
Oh, 2011.
Yeah, it's 2011. 2011.
Jake Delhomme.
That is not correct. Mess Around Dave, you have a chance to steal this.
For the Cleveland Browns?
For the Cleveland Browns in 2011.
Gosh, it's so they've had so many quarterbacks. It's hard. I want to say Tim Couch, but I know that's wrong.
Is that your final answer?
My final answer.
And that is not the correct answer. The correct answer in
Didn't think so.
2011 was actually Colt McCoy.
Ah,
All right. Your final question, Mess Around Dave. Peyton Manning joined the Broncos for the 2012 season. How many seasons did he play for the Indianapolis Colts?
18.
That is not correct. J-Mac, you'd have a chance to steal that one.
13.
That is not correct answer either. The correct answer was actually 14 seasons. So our trivia winner today is none other than J-Mac with the score of 6-4. So good job, J-Mac. You won the trivia game today. There was a few questions in there that I was actually surprised that you got the Scott Linehan question. I was surprised you got that one.
I don't even know why I know that. I just do.
I knew that the Cleveland Browns one might be a little tough because I'm like, they had so many quarterbacks since 2011. Like,
I mean, you walk into a bar in Cleveland and throw a quarter, you can probably hit someone who started for Cleveland.
Right.
yeah, you definitely probably could. There's no joke in there. All right. So, Nate, if you go up and head and pull up some Anchor here. J-Mac, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that Anchor?
Yeah, so Anchor. So if you couldn't watch tonight's show and you want to listen to it, it'll be downloaded to Anchor in about 48 hours. Give us about that long to put it on there. And you can listen to it on there through Spotify. I believe we're on Apple Podcast, Google Cast, anywhere you can find your podcast, it'll be on there. Also, if you want to start your own podcast, they give you all the tools necessary to do so. Absolutely free to start. And, check it on out. Anchor.fm.com.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And before we hop off here, too, I do need to give a shout out to none other than our MVP this season of the National Football League. And it was Aaron Rodgers who actually won the MVP this season. So congratulations for your third MVP award. But keep in mind, too, besides the MVP award, you also have Russell Wilson, who actually won the Man of the Year award. So congratulations, Russell Wilson, for winning the Man of the Year award. And to go on to that, too, did you all see who got elected for the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And that was none other than what?
Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson, that bad man in Charles Woodson. I'll tell you what, well-deserved, Charles Woodson. Well-deserved. He was a guy that you could simply stick anywhere on defense and he could make plays. You could put him at safety, you could put him at corner, and he would find a way to make plays. So congratulations, Charles Woodson. Well earned. Heisman Trophy winner, Defensive Player of the Year winner, Rookie of the Year,
Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, he just basically everything out there this guy had absolutely accomplished. So congratulations to that. And then Calvin Johnson, he's into that was deserved too. Too bad he didn't quite accomplish as much in his career. If he had been playing with another team, maybe. I mean, it possibly could have happened, but he was playing with the Lions. So congratulations to Calvin Johnson, though. It was great. All right. So I hope everybody enjoyed the show. And J-Mac, you got 30 seconds to go ahead and take it away. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give you a final thought real quick. So whether or not we're Oregon fans, I have to tell you, living in Oregon, it's really awesome when you get a local grown kid that does some great stuff in his life. And one of those guys is Justin Herbert.
born and raised in Eugene, Oregon, went to Sheldon High School, started at the University of Oregon, and is now Rookie of the Year for the NFL for the Los Angeles Chargers. So, hey, shout out to a local kid here in Oregon. Great job, Justin. Keep it up.
All right, mess around, Dave. You got 30 seconds to wrap up whatever it is you got to say.
So the big news going around is Chicago and the Philadelphia Eagles are closing in on a deal for Carson Wentz. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about the deal. I'm not sure how I feel about Carson Wentz, but he is an upgrade over Trubisky. So if the deal happens, I guess I'd be okay with it. As long as they don't send Tariq Cohen in the deal. That would just make me like he's one of my favorite players on the Bears. But also, thanks for having me on tonight, guys. I appreciate it. It's good to do a show with you and J-Mac again. It's been a minute.
Well, it was our pleasure as always, and it was fun. So tomorrow we have a very special guest for you tomorrow night on Between the Ropes. So actually catch that at 12 Central. It's going to be a great time. And then don't forget the Super Bowl is tomorrow. So everybody be ready for that because I think it's going to be a great game. And with that, everybody have a fantastic night, and we will see you again on Wednesday for another episode of Sports Minute. Have a good night.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so time for laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.